access to NCIC. Would you accept that as probably true, correct?
If you say so, yes.
Now, you kept, through your testimony, referring to Brady material in sort of a broad way. You would agree with me that the Brady obligations of a prosecutor is to turn over, technically giglio, I guess is what we're saying here, turn over information that they didn't have access to.
And again, Your Honor, objection. Mr. DiGiacomo is now questioning the witness on what the Brady obligation is when his Brady obligation is directly at issue in this case, and what he failed to do regarding this witness who has now been
this is
obliterated
like
with his testimony.
these objections are turning into speaking objections every time. I'm going to allow the questioning, and you may proceed.
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. Throughout your testimony.
Okay, now you see this bitch? She know it's foul. Do the same thing to him that you doing to my attorney when he's sitting there. When you hear something or you feel like the line is being crossed and he's going into breaking the law, you say something, you stop it. Bitch, you know what's going on is foul. But you're allowing this to take place. You sit here residing over this and you allowing it to take place. Now you upset about the objections. Bitch, we can't let him fabricate the fucking record. He's trying to ask the question and answer it, and if he don't say something that he don't like, or if if Latif is speaking the truth, then you jump in and try to say something about that. Do y'all see this shit? Look, am I fucking crazy? Yeah, I know I am a little bit though. But I mean, goddamn, there's different levels of crazy. So look, man, look at this shit. I just went in bed. Please look at this.
Testimony, you reference things like public records as being Brady material. Do you remember saying that?
Yes.
Okay. So it's your position as a witness that, like a public document, like the federal document docket that you placed in that exhibit you were looking at, that was Brady material despite it being accessible to anybody in the public.
It is Brady, yes.
Okay. And your position is.
Can I clarify? It's
It's
not accessible.
He can clarify it.
No, I want to. It's not accessible to anybody in the public. Only to people with access to PACER.
Okay. You realize that everybody, criminal defense attorneys, have the ability to get PACER themselves.
I don't know. I don't know how PACER works. I just
Aren't
know
you
I
a
have
defense
PACER.
attorney now?
Excuse me?
You're a defense attorney now.
Correct.
You have PACER.
I signed up for PACER, yes.
Oh, so you have access to it.
Correct.
It's not something that only law enforcement can get their hands on.
I don't know.
Well, you're no longer law enforcement, right?
Correct.
Objection argumentative.
I don't know the intricacies of PACER. I just know I can use it and print stuff out, and that's all I know.
You'd agree with me, you're now a private citizen that has access to PACER.
Correct.
You also, would you agree that if an item is in the public record, the defense has their own diligence they should be doing to get those records?
Sure.
And you would agree, I would think, that the information should be material, correct?
Of course.
So let's talk about what investigation you did in this case to make that determination.
Sure.
Now, in your affidavit, you say you reach out to Mr. DeMarco in August of 21.
Sure.
How did you learn about this case prior to August of 21?
I heard a podcast with Mr. Dow, and that was on the backdrop of having received a letter from an individual named Jason Mathis a year earlier about some misconduct in his case.
So you get a letter from Mr. Mathis, you hear a podcast from Mr. Dow. Mr. Dow has the ability to podcast despite being in prison.
Assume so, yes.
And in fact, have you watched some of those podcasts?
I listened to him.
You haven't seen any of the videos of those podcasts?
No.
After you hear all that, do you do the research first, or do you contact Mr. DeMarco?
Contact Mr. DeMarco.
So you contact Mr. DeMarco, and what do you request from him?
The transcript and anything he had.
And what do you get back?
The transcript.
So you have both transcripts of Mr. Mouton's deposition, and you have the transcript of his trial testimony, both of those?
Yes,
You also have a computer, do you not?
I do.
And you have the ability to pull up the internet, obviously, correct?
Yes,
So you could do some research as to public information.
yes.
Did you do any research into public information as it relates to the claims that there has been a Brady violation in this case?
Yes, so one of the things I did was, in his trial testimony, Mr. Cantrell indicated that he knew Mr. Dow from hanging around the Fillmore neighborhood. So I'm from that neighborhood. It's a small community. Everyone knows each other. So I Google searched Mr. Mouton. Several pictures came up of Mr. Mouton. I said to myself, if this is the same witness, this is not true what he testified to. Hence, we need to see who this guy is. Used his SF number, went and got his rap sheet and his booking photo.
You mentioned that you had both his trial testimony and his deposition, correct?
Yeah, at some point, yeah.
Would you agree with me that Mr. Mouton testified that he was from Bayview District, that's where he was raised?
That's what he said in the sealed transcript that was kept away from the jury, but what he said in front of the jury was something different.
Well, we can dispute.
With all that said, did you hear this shit? He testified about, he's telling the truth about certain things in a sealed document. They hid this shit from me. They wouldn't even let me read the motherfucking transcripts of the August 28, 2007 hearing that he had. They protecting this nigga like he Oliver North, like he's a top spy. Who is this nigga? Who in the fuck is he telling on? What type of witness is he? And it's coming out. It's certain shit that's being said that he trying to jam Latif on. Bitch, you exposing who you are. You got sealed documents. Again, I love Latif, man. See, we got to start sending these babies to college, man, for real. Niggas out there, get that money together, man. Start picking the smartest motherfuckers and sending them to school. Look out for them, sponsor them. All you niggas that's out there selling dope, pimping and all that, man, get them babies and you send them to school, nigga. This is what we need. Man, good God almighty. Okay, go ahead, man. I'm thankful to Latif daddy. If it wasn't for his father just being the way that he was on his son, because Latif knew that he couldn't do a motherfucking thing out there. Larry Gray would have beat the skin off that nigga. Yeah. He'd be light-skinned. You wouldn't know if that nigga was black or white. Yeah. On his ass, it'd be white. I promise you that. But come on.